Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. We are here today with Philip Button, Managing Director of the Brooks Property Group. Good morning. How are you doing today? You good?
I'm very well, thank you.
Amazing.
Yeah, very well.
Good to hear. Well, listen, I know you're a busy man, so we're just going to dive right into it, get to the questions so that we can get out of your way so you can get along with your busy day.
That's fine.
To begin, we thought we'd just say, tell us a bit about yourself and the Brooks Property Group and how it sort of all commenced and the development through to here.
Yeah, so I'm a chartered accountant, financial guy by background. Been in business for over 30 years. About 20 years ago, we got involved in a project in Central Florida. We like the idea of property and property development.
Beautiful.
And between then and now, we've done 60 or so developments, about 700 million in transactions.
So a lot. Now you're used
now
to
we're
it.
here in Portugal. So but yeah, that's kind of the potted history of what we've
beautiful.
done.
And so tell us a bit about Quinta Heights, the development down here, or as much as you're allowed to tell us at this point.
Yeah, well, Quinta Heights came at the end of a 9-month research process when we looked at every possible project from the Spanish border to Sagres in the west, and we picked it because we felt it was the right combination of location, from a lifestyle standpoint, spectacular views,
fantastic,
investment drifting out towards the kind of centre and the west. So we felt that it had all the right characteristics for our clients and to bring people into that project.
Absolutely, and you sort of just answered a bit of our next question, but as you mentioned, this location, you've clearly been successful in many places, the US, Bahamas, a few to start. So in regards to the Ferragudo, Carvoeiro, Santa Maria area which you've chosen, you chose it in particular because of the rustic charm in combination with the beach location and things like that, instead of being something a bit further east?
Yeah, exactly. I think we traditionally came to the Quinta del Lago, Valdelobo area, but I think people are looking for that more quintessentially Portuguese, that charm of a little fishing village in Ferragudo, and then the site itself sits at the crown of the hill, so we have spectacular views of 180-degree views all around the site, and then it's just a great location for a new project.
And besides that, what do you think makes Quinta Heights so special? We know there's a number of amenities and so on.
Yeah, we set out to differentiate the product, so to make the product better than everything else. And then we've got a series of facilities and amenities with the spa and gym and unusual things like beautiful gardens and an incredible observatory. So
that was one of our favorite sort of unique aspects. What was the inspiration for the observatory?
The inspiration was us doing some research into Portugal and knowing that, like Great Britain and Spain, Portugal was a seafaring country, and all those years ago, 300-400 years ago, you would travel the world and be able to navigate via the stars. And then we discovered historical character Henry the Navigator in Sagres, and the skies were very clear, and you could see very little light pollution. So we thought, wouldn't it be cool to be able to have our own version of the Greenwich Observatory on our site in Ferragudo? And so that's the inspiration behind it.
It's a very unique idea, especially because you mentioned the low light pollution, especially in more of a rustic fisher farmer town, as you mentioned there. I think it's a great little addition to the development. So for this development, you've chosen to work with personally one of my favorite architects in the area, no bias, but Marcelo Santos. What unique aspects do you think he's brought to this development?
Well, we love Marcelo's creativity. He's got a really strong team there of architects and engineers led by him. We've seen a number of his projects. We like the clean lines, we like the contemporary feel of his products, and he's a joy to work with. He's a creative guy. He's got some great ideas, the clear lines. If you look at the facilities, those clean lines on things like the gym and the yoga studio with those beautiful curves, and then the spa. We're looking to deliver an exceptional product that is, essentially better than everything else in the area. So we're excited to deliver it. We're excited to be working with Marcelo.
Amazing. And you mentioned a number of features in this development. What is personally one of your favorite features about Quinta Heights?
Well, I think, as I mentioned a moment ago, I love the idea of the observatory. But as an English guy, I also like the parks and gardens. So this concept of, there's about a 7-acre space that sits relatively low, and we've got a series of secret gardens. So the owners get to have their own key, and they can go into a citrus garden,
amazing.
and their aromatic garden, a micro vineyard, and end up in this observatory garden and go and see, gaze at the stars.
Wow.
And it's all for the owners and their friends and family. It's private, it's exclusive, it differentiates us from other projects.
Definitely. Something I've definitely haven't heard here as well as in various other countries around Europe. For people that don't know this particular area as well, what are some of your favorite highlights about the sort of Ferragudo-Carvoeiro region?
What I like, well, the first thing we see when we researched was the beautiful beach at Caneros and the restaurant Rio de Praia. Then we researched and found that it was voted by Condé Nast in 2016 as the 9th best restaurant in the world. And it's a glass box that sits on stilts looking at the ocean. The beach itself was beautiful, and that's the local beach for Quinta Heights. It's a 12-minute walk. And we thought, wow, this is great. But that was the initial start point. Then we found other lovely beaches, Praia Grande, where you have things like Club Now. We like the proximity to the golf courses at Gramacho, Valdepinta. So we felt that it was that right combination of location for the development, but proximity to great restaurants, beaches, golf courses, all the things that people want when they go on holiday.
Definitely. I've heard that Rio de Praia is one of the best restaurants in the Algarves, as you mentioned 9th in the world. Definitely need to try it shortly.
Well, it's great for seafood. It's a lovely restaurant, and we've been there many times, and it's spectacular.
Beautiful. As you mentioned, you have an accountancy background originally. What do you think is the benefit of getting in at this project so early from an accountancy sort of background perspective?
Well, I think the clients from the UK, we've seen political change this year with a new government. People are looking for an economy that's doing well, for a market where prices are rising. And there's a long-standing, we have the longest history between Great Britain and Portugal, dates back. We're trading allies for 700 years. And so we feel welcome here. We like this part of the world, but from a tax standpoint, there's really good tax reasons why people might come to live here and maybe bring some of their wealth, bring in pensions and various other things. So there's some really good tax reasons. Then on the investment itself, anybody that we bring into the development benefit from off-plan prices. So they come in at a much lower price per square meter than any other comparable development in the area. So it's a combination of those factors.
And then sort of our final question here is, what does Portugal or the future hold for you in Portugal and the Brooks Property Group?
Well, I love Portugal. So right now I have 5 different companies in Portugal. I've got a number of different developments that are earlier in the stage further west. I see that being the direction of travel, but right now, good reason to be in that Aveiro Ferragudo area, but we want a long-term footprint here in Portugal, in the Algarve in particular, but maybe into the Alentejo.
Beautiful.
And other areas. So we're kind of in the process of moving our operation. I've got an NHR status going through as well, so I may well live here myself for a good part of the year going forward.
Okay, so we can definitely expect more developments from the Brooks Property Group in Portugal moving forward.
Yes, although Quinta Heights is our baby and we love it, we've probably got 2 other developments in the pipeline that are 4 or 5 times the size of Quinta Heights. So we're here for the long haul.
Beautiful, exciting times.
Exciting times for us, yeah.
Well,
exactly.
Thank you for your time, and we'll speak to you soon.
Thanks very much.